Hey, welcome to Pod of Mercy. I am your host, Long Hair Linda, and our special guest co-host today is...
Tony D.
Tony D.
Yeah, we in it.
We're in here.
Yeah.
We're in here. And also to our listeners, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas
if you
indeed.
Celebrate Christmas.
And happy holidays, seasons, greetings, and a happy new year to you.
Yes, indeed. So I don't know if you've managed to listen to a few of these episodes.
No, I caught a snippet of the flawless one, and I said, okay, I have to be involved. I have to be involved, man.
Well, I start off with a rapid fire just to get us warmed up.
Okay.
A little bit of an icebreaker.
Yeah,
now you have 45 seconds, Tony, to answer 10 questions. Do you think you can do it?
4.5 seconds of each question, I think.
For me to ask and you to answer.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
All right. Let me just get my timer together. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
And go. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Favorite Christmas song?
Fuck out of here.
You're not going to answer? All right. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Shitty drivers.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Name 3 things you want from Santa this year.
Money, money, and money.
Okay. Dream car?
I don't care about cars.
If you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
To fly.
Would you prefer to have lots of money or lots of free time?
Lots of free time.
Favorite Christmas food?
Stuffing.
Best piece of advice you received?
I know this one as well. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
And you literally said it just as the timer went. Amazing.
Of course.
Wow.
I get it in.
That was impressive. That was great advice.
It was very. My older brother.
Nice.
It was written on the wall of his studio. And do you know the worst thing is I saw it for years. And years I looked at this same thing and read it. And one day the penny dropped what it actually meant, what it really means. And it's life changing. It's like you can change your life based on that piece of information. It's incredible. Good piece of advice. Good advice.
That's a great advice. All right. Well, in addition to being an incredible rapper, as we were just talking about as well, and a battle rap legend, you are also a teacher.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm a teaching assistant. I am not a fully fledged teacher
because
I wouldn't like to take anything away from those good men and women that teach and that studied and went and like I fell on my ass into this. This was like just by an accident, a happy accident.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm a teaching assistant.
Okay.
And I'm also an emotional literacy support assistant, which is
nice.
Yeah. So if children have emotional difficulties, anger problems, depression, because it happens, then they come and see me and we talk this stuff through, and we see if we can't change your way of thinking about certain things.
Wow. Oh, that was amazing when I was at school.
Yeah. Wow.
Imagine like a lot of I'm honestly just thinking of so many things that could have been different at school if I had something like that.
It's just like therapy.
It's amazing.
It's like therapy.
It really is. Okay, well, I thought you would be the perfect guest co-host to talk about some of the memories that you have from school.
Okay. Woo!
So,
are we going back now?
Especially because now you experience the other side of schooling.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Now I'll be honest. I should find all my teachers on Facebook and apologize to them. Like I should just DM them all and just be like, I'm so sorry, man. Yeah. Primary school I was blessed. Secondary school I was a nightmare. But yeah.
Well, let's go right from the beginning. Do you remember much of nursery reception, kindergarten, anything?
Oh
like
yeah.
That? Okay.
There's a massive, I'm from South London, originally. There's a massive cathedral in Southwark called St George's Cathedral, and I went to St George's School, which is attached to it, and the nursery is attached to the church.
Okay.
So I've still got the scar from where I fell over. A little toy iron stabbed me in the arm and gave me I remember to this day that scar is from that building next to the church where I went to nursery in the very early 80s. The very early 80s. Whoa. So I still remember nursery. I remember my first teacher when I was in like infants, juniors. Now infants, it would have been Miss Yarla. It always used to have.
You don't know her name?
Yeah, she was old. And I think about it now, like she seemed ancient to me, but she had to be 60 something because you got to retire after that, right?
Yeah.
So she had to be around
she had to be
there.
like under 65.
Yeah. But she always had this spittle between her top lip and her bottom lip at all times. Like, so she would talk, and sometimes this piece of spittle would be like a string, and it would waver as she spoke, and the air left her mouth. This little piece of spittle would waver, and then when she stopped, it would snap back into place. It was like it was glued there. And her breath smelled like coffee consistently, like just consistently. She was my first earliest primary school teacher, man, and I loved primary school. Like I like learning. I still like learning now. But yeah, I really enjoyed primary school. But yeah, she was like my first. I know a load of them. Miss Binns, I think I had. I think I might have had a crush on her too. And she did a thing. She brought my mum into school. And so, you know, for a parent teacher, whatever they're doing. And she said, "Have you noticed this about him?" And she said, "Anthony," which is what they call me then. That wasn't always Tony. "Sit on your hands." All right, sat on my hands. Now speak. I talk as much with my body language and my hands.
Okay.
And she had noticed it and asked my mum, "Have you noticed this?" And of course I have. He's my son. Do you know what I mean? Like, I live with him forever. But yeah, that was one thing that she made me realize about myself, is that I'm expressive when I talk.
Yeah.
Like, so the hand movements, the body language, the gestures, everything comes into how you express yourself.
Right.
Because it's more than just the words. And she was probably the first teacher to make me realize that. That was, I might have been 7 or 8.
Okay, so that's primary school.
And then I had Mrs. Shields. I had Mrs. Banger, who was from Wales. And then I had Mrs. Shields, whose husband worked in the secondary school I went to. So I couldn't escape that family. Yeah, we had an intrinsic link. But yeah, I love primary school, man. I proper enjoyed it. Like, I was one of the smartest kids in primary school. I was one of the fastest. Like, I was popular. Shit was cool. My cousin was in my class. You know,
I loved primary school too.
Who didn't?
I know, it's so great.
Well, you say that. I see kids now who do not enjoy primary school.
Yeah, who are not having a good time.
But yeah, no, it is the greatest thing in the world.
I loved it. I mean, I went to schools in different countries, so I only actually came to England when I was 7.
Oh wow.
So I was born in Kenya. But me and my mum moved to a French-speaking country in Central Africa called Djibouti. And so I lived there from like 2 to 5.
Okay.
So I had like my nursery and reception in Djibouti. And only thing I really remember is like a pool, because it was always super humid, so I'd always just be in the pool.
And why not?
And why not? My mum tells me stories and they kind of like, you know, resonate a little bit, but like I was super like smart, and like I spoke 4 languages in that time. I know, it's insane.
Yeah. It's the best time for it though. You see, as a kid, like the one piece of advice I'd give people, if you're bilingual, like talk to your kid in your native, like hit them with it, man. Just speak to them in different languages, because their brain absorbs it. It's no different to them. It's normal. Yeah, it's absolutely normal, man.
Like, I had English and Swahili anyway. Swahili is the national language in Kenya. Well, technically English is as well, British colony. But
I know so Swahili.
Do you?
Yeah, but only because of Monster Cody.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a LA gangbanger, but he wrote a book, and I've read his book several times. And when he went to jail, he converted to this Pan-African kind of movement they had going on, and they spoke in Swahili. So like, I know Kinsu is a knife, like
Kisu.
Yeah, there you go. And that's where I know it from. Yeah. See, I've only seen it read, so he spells it Kinsu, but how you pronounce it, Kisu?
Yeah, no, it's not an N. It may very well be though, because it's so Swahili's made up of tribal, like old tribal languages. The main one being Bantu. So there are certain words that are like can be translated to Swahili, are very close, but they might be from like Zimbabwe or like, you know, somewhere close. Yeah. So
like Old English into how we speak.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's very mixed. But yeah, so my schooling was kind of weird, because then I moved. Well, then I did 1 year of primary school in Kenya, because I moved back to Kenya when I was 5, and then I came here.
Okay, and you've been here ever since?
Yeah, and I've been here ever since. So then I had schooling in my first primary school in England was in Forest Gate, East London. And so it was
Shout out to East London.
Shout out East London, my favourite place. Yeah, and it was, super mixed and
so
friendly.
How was that coming from an African country where I don't imagine white people are an everyday occurrence?
Oh, now they are.
What a deal now. But then, and what year was this? Pardon me asking.
No. So I came to England in 95.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm old.
It was 95. I'm not that far from you. I was 7 at 95.
Yeah, you do not know. I was in my teens, like way into my teens in 95. I was raving at Westwood in 1995. So how was it coming from like black everywhere? I used to work with a woman who told me she went to work. She left Nigeria and went to work in America, and she said, I didn't know I was black until I got to America.
Here's the thing. Living in East London, that wasn't when I realised I was black.
Okay.
I realised I was black 2 years later when my mum bought a house in Essex and took us out to Essex, where there was one other black family in the entire town, right? And the daughter went to my primary school that I then went to there, because I went to now a different primary school in Essex for the final year, my year 6. That's when I heard the N-word said to me. That's when, like, all of these things, all of these experiences, they started in Essex. So my first 2 years in England, I was around black people, white people, Asian people.
And it wasn't.
And it felt like Kenya, but with some more white people, because there's quite a few Asian people in Kenya.
Yeah, of course.
So it just felt like I was still in Nairobi, but with white people, and everything was calm. Like, everything was cool. I was super smart at school. I was super advanced. That's one thing I noticed, was that we learned way more in
the African education system.
Yeah.
Is I read a statistic about this a few years ago when I was in social work. And it said what a 9-year-old in Nigeria learns is what a 15-year-old in the UK learns.
That sounds about right.
And what an 18-year-old in the US learns.
That actually sounds about right.
That's the level of education.
Yeah.
Like, so that makes perfect sense to me. Like, you would be mad.
And another thing as well is that you pay for education in Kenya, and obviously a lot of African countries. So when you're paying for it, and it's private education, you get the best education, right? So coming here, I remember
to a primary school in Forest Gate.
Let me tell you something. I walked in and I was like, what is happening? Like, kids were just running wild. A teacher came out and was like, no, you need to go and stand over here, and the kid just went, shut up. And I was like, wait, let me just paint a picture. So before I left Nairobi, when I was in my primary school, right, we had a uniform, right, and it had, like, we looked like we were in Scouts. That's the closest thing I can give you, right? So you had your little tie and whatever. You had to be very clean presented. Your shoes had to be clean. They checked your fingernails. Your fingernails had to be clean. Like, you stand, when you first arrive, you stand in a line with your classmates.
I work in school now. Do you know how many children
with dirty
would
fingernails?
fail the dirty It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Are you a mechanic? Why are your nails dirty at 9 a.m.?
What have you been doing?
What did you
just got here.
You just woke up and came here. Like, but I discovered some people don't have daily baths.
No.
They have. A girl told me I miss my weekly bath on Wednesday, so I have to have it tonight on Thursday. I had to stop myself from saying, God damn, you have one bath a week.
Do you know what? That was the first thought. Well, when that whole people not washing their legs everywhere on Twitter, my first thought was, you're making that decision for you, and that's nasty enough, but you know what? None of my business. But that means if you have kids,
they're not gonna wash their
legs. They're gonna learn that that's okay, and that's how you. Oh my God, that was the first thing I thought. I was thinking, all of these ridiculous, dirty habits you lot have, you're passing on to your children, and they don't realise that that's not normal.
It's baffling. I
miss my weekly bath. I wish anyone could say that around an African mother. My goodness. God.
A weekly bath, Like, oh, okay. You're sorry, but I interrupted your story because that. Yeah, I imagine
they
fingernails,
check your
fingernails.
Your parents, your shoes had to be clean, and of course you don't talk back to a teacher. I used to get in trouble not because I talked back to teachers, but because I was just a chatterbox. You couldn't tell. So I'd be sat like, I'm supposed to be doing my work, or whatever, and I'm like chatting, and then you have to go outside, pick your switch, and get hit on the back of the hand. Like, that's what happens. So coming here and then just hearing shut up to teachers, people just not paying attention, and then like even answering questions. I'm like hearing the questions and I'm like, it's so easy. I'm looking around, no one's putting their hand out, nobody knows like what it, and I'm like, wait. So that took some getting used to, but generally speaking, it was okay until I went to Essex, and that was
But did you excel at school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all the way through, like you went uni.
Secondary school, I had issues, but
you went uni. You
I
did the whole
yeah. So I studied law at uni, but that's only because a teacher told my mum that I should.
Okay.
Because of my performance in English, and my mum was like, you know what? That's what
that's what you gotta do.
That's what's gonna happen.
Sheesh.
All right. Well, yeah. Sorry, we kind of went all over the place, but
yeah, that was primary school.
That was primary. I loved primary.
Yeah, I love primary, awesome. Man. Primary.
I used to love sitting in book corners. Did you have like book corners and just like buy some shelves? And
I like information.
Okay.
Like I love information. So just people stand at the front of a room and tell you information all day long. And then what they ask you to write about that information that they've just told you.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's difficult, sometimes it's easy. But it's really just processing that same information and putting it down on a piece of paper.
Right.
And I like information, I like learning stuff. So for me in primary school, I was like top of the class, like I was in the top 5 of the class in primary school. I was on my work. Like I used to get in trouble because I used to finish my work so quickly that there's fuck all to do. So I'll play around. I'll mess around. Like I said,
chatting,
my cousin was in the class.
Yeah.
So we the only 2 black kids in the class, the only 2 black boys in the class.
Wow.
So it's just me and him. So we laughing and joking. Like, so I used to get in trouble because of that. And then every school report was like, he does his work, but then he interrupts other children and he messes around and stuff.
That sounds like me.
So what they used to do was, like, my mom said, can't you give him extra stuff? Like, so when I was like 6, my reading age was 11. So they would just give me books. So I'd sit quite contentedly and read big people books.
Learn some new things.
Just learn some shit I didn't know before.
Yeah.
Just take it all in, man, because it like the world's a mess. It's a big, wide fucking world. So anything you can take in, like, and me myself personally, being not just a child of the diaspora and the effects of slavery, but also colonialism in Ireland. So both of my parents are immigrants. So I know there's a wider world than what they're telling me at school. Because both of my parents come from 2 different parts of the world and none of them are here. So that alone, when I used to read like history, and you go into school and they teach you history and you say, well, my mum showed me something that, like, this is incorrect. Or my dad and my gran showed me this thing here that, and you get known as a troublemaker because you're challenging the narrative. But it's because I know better. And when, like, a guy used to, Cromwell used to walk around taking pot shots at this Irish peasant, like man, woman, child. This guy, what was his name? It wasn't Cromwell. What was his name? I forget anyway. But he'd drive around the Irish countryside and just shoot people. They don't teach you that in British history.
No.
But it's a thing that happened. Like, they used to think the Irish had tails. So they just slaughtering people. This is an 800-year war they did with, you know what I mean? Like the first attempt at colonialism. But knowing that, my mum being from Ireland, so me knowing Irish history and understanding that, made me so everything that you say is not accurate. Everything you say is from your perspective. And in much the same way as, like, my parents, my dad is from Dominica, that side of my family is from the Caribbean. And even looking at that, the stuff that they would tell you about slavery and then about, like, segregation and racism and stuff, and like my grand told me some really different stories from what you are explaining to me. So for me, like, information is key. I love learning new things. Like I truly enjoy it. I embrace it. And luckily my kids are the same. They like learning new things. I
think that kind of curiosity can be genetic, because I see it in my family too. I see it in my mum. And I used to see it in my grandma. And so I knew that that's where I was getting it from, because they had that same trait.
It's the fascination.
Yeah, it's I need to know more. How, like, you told me this, great, but I need to
know more. That, and like, that's the key.
And especially when you find out as a kid, at least for me, because I had a moment in an after school club in East London when I realised, adults don't know what they're talking about. because I had one of the adults who was looking after us, we were doing some kind of activity, argue with me at 8 years old that Africa is a country.
Oh God!
I said, I'm from there. I literally got a flight from there last year. What are you trying to tell? No, Africa is a country, Linda.
Oh God! Damn!
I said, oh. So these people don't, just because they're grown up.
That person in charge of Jesus.
Let me tell you something. I said, from that moment, I said, I don't care if you're grown up and I'm supposed to listen to you. I'll listen. But I'm not trusting you all the way, because that's not, you can't. And then to not accept the correction because it's coming from a child, I was like, okay, these are, I need, it was a great lesson because I took that to school, I took that to life. I'm not just accepting
just
information
because people are older than you, it doesn't mean they know what the fuck they talking about.
Especially when you get older and you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. If I had to advise anyone, I'm like, listen maybe don't, grain of salt.
They let me in a school. Like, I'm in charge of other people's children. Right. Like, at a malleable age. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, where they're taking in
if you had, like, evil intentions, you could create, like, evil geniuses.
You could fuck up their whole life.
Yeah.
But, like, they leave me in charge of children, man. Do you know what I mean? Luckily, I really like children. Like, I little humans that you can pour... Like, just you pour stuff into them. Do you know what I mean? And it's a cup that's forever. Like, it doesn't fill up.
Yeah.
The cup stays. No matter how much you pour in, it just keeps receiving. Like, and it's wonderful to watch. Like, the year before, I taught phonics. Because I'm trained in phonics. Which a woman not far from here, Ruth Miskin. She started in a school in Stratford. She invented this way of teaching phonics and teaching children to read.
Okay.
And she started in a school in Stratford, and I think like she almost obliterated their even like their literacy rate. Like, it went through the roof. Even dyslexic children were understanding. So like, I teach phonics, and it's a wonderful thing to see a kid who like they can't grasp this, and then you go over it with them. What sound does this make? Like, what sound of the A and I? What sound is it? It's an A sound. Even though it's got I and it's an A sound. So anytime you see that in the middle of a word, it's A. And all of a sudden, like once the penny finally drops and you see it open up a whole new world, because that's afraid, paid, late, and now they can just read something. They can read, and watching them go from like, when you take, even in the space of a year, because children learn a lot in a year and they change a lot in a year.
Yeah.
So just in that space, watching them, it makes all the other shit worthwhile. Like, all the nonsense that you put up with, the stress, the bad kids, and I don't even want to say bad kids, but the kids who haven't been shown better.
Nurture has failed them.
Yeah. There you go.
The nurture side has failed them. It's not by nature.
There you go. Yeah. Which is what I deal with heavily as an ELSA, which is the emotional literacy. People who, like, I tweeted just yesterday, like, we all need therapy. Every single one of us needs therapy. Yeah. Like, to go and spill our guts to a complete stranger, free from judgment, with someone who's not going to point a finger at you and go in on you. We all need to express that, like, and just to let it come tumbling out. Because there's a skit on Iron Man, the Ghostface album, and he say, don't you know if a man could flip himself inside out, he'd fall out and die, right? And he goes on to say, like, everything that create the universe is in you, so you are one with the universe. So nothing can happen without your say so, because you are the universe.
Yeah.
At the same time, once you are not here, you're still within the universe, but you're just influencing a different way. You know what I mean? But that thing of tipping yourself inside out is really important. Like, I've done it in stages. I still have baggage that I need to get rid of.
Yeah.
But in stages, I've emptied out a pocket or two. Do you know what I mean? Like, and looked at it and examined the contents and kicked it around the floor and that. And all right, and you see things from a different angle, and you gain a new perspective. And the opportunity for everybody to do that should be there. It should be available to everyone. So and I forgot even the thread of what we was talking about.
Well, I think it's the point of that.
Nurture failing them. Yeah. So you're talking about children who come from parents who were failed. So if you don't know better, how can you do better?
You can't.
Yeah, like I was talking to my friend the other day. one of my good friends. He's probably the smartest guy I know, man. Like he's got a favorite Roman emperor.
Okay.
Yeah, that like this guy knows everything.
Wow.
He knows everything, man. He's actually got a podcast. I won't put it on here because it's competition.
No, please tell people if it helps someone.
Surviving Society is cool, man.
Nice.
Like it's my closest friend. I've known him 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
But he said to me, he was talking to someone he knows, and he said, well, before you make this decision, do some research on it. And he said about 3 hours later, the fella came back and said he'd done this thing. He said, did you research? He went, yeah, I did. And he said at that point it occurred to him, he doesn't know what research is. Mm-hmm. Like he actually doesn't know what to research something is.
Yeah.
And he said, how can I be mad at him? He doesn't know. And that's like the stage I'm at now. I'm teaching children who their nurture is failing them, but it's largely because whatever was in place for their parents failed them. Mm-hmm. And not even just as children, but as adults, like you talking about domestic violence, like these type of things. Yeah, the adults around you have failed you. And so it's really important for me to try to drum home this message of you don't have to hold on to that. See that thing there? Let it go. Let it go.
But it's like you were saying, at that age, they are taking everything in.
They're sponge.
So that means the negative's going in too.
Exactly.
And it's hurting them, and it's hurting their behavior and their learning capacity and how they look at life. And it's because they take everything. And so that's why I always think it's so important, because people talk about, like, especially as a woman, if you say, you're not really interested in having kids, they're like, do you not like kids? Like, I love kids. I think they're great. And so you then have to get into that conversation, and then I'm like, but I don't want to fuck a human. I really don't, because I look around and I just think, oh my God. So I changed my answer now that I'm 32. I changed my answer to, if I change my mind and I feel ready, I'd rather adopt, because why not, right?
And that's a great
and another reason for that is because I would be ready then. Yeah. It wouldn't be an accident. It wouldn't be we're here now. We're gonna make it work. And this is not to judge anybody, but if you're not mentally ready, it means that you could be failing another human being that then has to attack this world and go into this world and be
this mad world.
And it's only getting madder. It's only getting madder. Like, I know people think, like, it's all relative in the time that you live, but we've never been this connected with everybody at the same time.
Yes.
Stuff was mad before. There was slavery and wars and all of it, but we still have that now, but we can just see all of it at the same time.
Absolute nail on the head.
Right? And it's like madness is still happening. It's just that we can see it in real time. And we can't do anything most of the time to stop it, but just watch and go, oh my God.
Yeah, like,
right?
What the fuck is going on?
What's going on? How can I help? Oh, and I still have bills to pay. Shit, right. Turn it off, go do something else. And then it's a lot. So I feel like I don't want to bring a human into the world to deal with that. And then they're also not prepared for even the smaller things.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And a lot of these children are not prepared. There's a lack of resilience amongst the younger generation, because any adversity is kind of they break down at the first stage of adversity. And it's like, well, life is going to get way harder than this. So you've got to learn some defense mechanisms. You've got to learn some coping mechanisms to get you through this thing. Like, so, and a lot of kids are like, it would become anger and that type of stuff there.
Yes.
Which is why they come to me and we try to, like, because it's okay to be angry. I will never in life tell anybody, don't be angry. It's the most normal. It keeps you safe.
It's an emotional response.
It's an emotional responst, and it keeps you safe. It's a defensive mechanism from the time we were like single cells. Like, well, not that far back, but it goes way back. Yeah, it's actually in our DNA. Like I heard the other day that we've got two natural fears. It's loud noises and heights. Those are our two, as humans, those are our two innate fears, because a loud noise means something mad is happening, and if you're up high, you can fall down and die.
The up high, 100% agree with that one.
Yeah, because I'm not good with heights.
I do not like heights.
Nah, I'm out there. But so dealing with these children, like I saw something just yesterday. I went to a conference, an ELSA conference, and they said if babies are sensory because they have no language, they everything is sensory. Yeah. Right. And this is what they call your lizard brain. This is the primitive brain.
Okay.
Right? So this is just you taking in information. So if you're a baby in a house and every time the front door opens at a particular time, the force that comes into that house is a negative force, and arguments start. And what you as a child, your trigger will be a door opening, right? And when you're 5 or 6 and door opens and someone walks to your classroom and you tense up and freeze with no idea why. It's because the sensory information that you took on before you could process anything rationally, the sensory information said there's a threat every time the door opens.
Yeah.
So you still flinch. It's the same for domestic violence. If women are pregnant and suffer domestic violence, the adrenaline that run the cortisol, the fight or flight or freeze response, that charges into the baby, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
So these children are born with heightened levels of cortisol, which means their natural state is to be anxious. Yeah, like at all times.
Yeah.
At all times. And it takes therapy to get past that.
Yes.
It takes a great deal of picking away and chipping at that shit there. So that's if everyone had access to therapy, just to go and talk, to sit back, and even the most minor of things. Like I'm the older I'm getting, the more reflective I'm getting.
Same.
And there's things that have occurred to me that, like, that is why that very particular instance there is what I based an entire behavior on.
Yes, I literally do that all the time.
Yeah, that followed me.
Yeah.
Like when I was training to be at ELSA, we had to go through like trauma and rare. So we learned a lot about child psychology and stuff. And then it occurred to me, like going through it, I had abandonment issues. And those abandonment issues had dictated, like I literally mapped a path of, look, that's why I did that. That's why that. And
that's why I reacted like that.
That's why I behaved this way. And up to now, this is why I am the way that I am. And that's something I have to work out. And having kids has helped me work on that a lot, because they're not going nowhere. They stuck with me, whether they like it or not. They in a headlock. So yeah, it's just like everybody should just be afforded that time, free from judgment, completely free from finger pointing, just to go through all the shit. Say it out loud.
Qualified professional.
By a professional.
That can help you.
That can help, man. It's absolutely necessary, man.
Because I wish I had, the closest thing I had to that, which is not really close at all when I think about it, but in secondary school I had anger management issues. I put that in quotes. Because it's that, do you know the scene? And honestly, when I watched Bad Boys 2, I was howling. Because near the beginning, after Will Smith shoots him in the arm, and they're in the Wusa, right? There's a point where he's sitting there with her and she says, "You're angry," and he's like, "I'm not angry." That legit happened to me in school. I had to sit with an anger management counselor once or twice a week, I can't remember, and I would sit in this office with her and she would say, "You're angry," and I'm like, I'm not angry, but you're angry. That would be the conversation. Yeah,
and you see that's a professional that has no idea of what it's like to be black and to be British,
right,
and to be African,
right,
and to be British. And the transition of my responses are based off of what is happening around me,
right,
and what they're looking at. Again, that same racist trope, the angry black woman.
Right.
Because as soon as you challenge
you've given me angry black woman, you've given me that label at
early,
like 12.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, obviously I'm not able to process this and articulate it. But at 32, I'm thinking, okay, so by 12, I'd lived in 3 different countries. I went from a multicultural Forest Gate to a very white Essex. I suffered racial abuse there by the age of 10. I came to school. It was a bit more my secondary school was a bit more mixed, but that's when I actually experienced real bullying. I stopped doing all of the sport I used to love to do. I was a really sporty kid. Stopped everything. Obviously at 12, I can't tell you that.
Yeah.
I don't even know
you can't process it yourself. You can't process it.
But instead of trying to figure out why I may appear to be angry, why I may appear to be struggling, You just sit there for 20 minutes
and say you're
tell
angry.
me I'm angry.
Yeah.
And it's insane. I mean, okay, my secondary school experience was it was basically based on just being bullied for most of it, but still having good friends and still having great experiences, but also just not having good experiences as well. What about you? Because you love primary school. What was secondary school like?
Secondary school. You know what? I've still got friends now. I'm in a WhatsApp group with friends from secondary school now. And like I said, my closest friend, I just said, the smartest guy I know, I've known him from secondary school.
Okay.
But like the first year, we did a test. We started in September, and we did this test in the December, and there was 5-year groups. So because it was a big school. And as a side note, about 4 of the teachers just got nicked for noncing. Like they shut the school down.
Yeah, two of my teachers. Ooh.
Listen, but
horrible.
Yeah, so they we had like a 5-year intake, 5-form intake. Sorry while I pour another drink that will come out on the microphone.
Oh, it's fine. Sounds like that are cool.
Yeah, it's very good scotch. I cannot knock you. It's very good scotch.
My Googling helped. Research, people.
Research.
Go on.
Yeah, so we did a test at like in the December, and I'd come from being one of the brightest in my primary school. We did this test. I came so far down. And I mean, so 5 classes of 30 kids. That's 150 kids. It's thinking about it now, I didn't come that far down. But it was far enough for me to say. So I tried my hardest, and I only got there. Fuck this. So then, me and secondary school was all about me having fun. And then like, that was at 11. Which was kind of the same. It was just then when I discovered NWA.
Oh, what a time to discover NWA.
Yeah, God. Straight Outta Compton had just dropped. He had just come out. It was Straight Outta Compton was fresh off the press. So I heard that, and I'd already been into rap. Like my uncle gave me the Beastie Boys License to Ill. My stepdad gave me Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather. And I just rinsed this stuff. I'd absorbed it completely. And then I got to secondary school where there was kids who was old as 16. They was like, when you're 11 and someone's 16, you damn near an adult. And they had all the latest music. They had everything. So I quickly hooked up. Like, you find who the guy is. Yeah. And me, I'm a sociable kind of a person. I'll worm my way in anywhere I feel to worm my way in.
But also you find your tribe. You find
100%. Yeah, so there was one Spanish youth called Lopez, and he made me a mixtape. And at the beginning of the mixtape, he used the NWA sample, "You Are Now About to Witness the Strength of Street Knowledge." So then, boom, I went back. That there, from my hit, because I'm a summer baby. So I'm like the youngest in the class.
Same.
There you go. So, so like I hit 12, and my school life, because I went to school in Clapham Junction, and I lived in Elephant. And like my school friends were like Brixton, Stockwell, Aldgate, Walthamstow. They were far out. So what I did when I got back to the block was way different to what I did at school.
Right.
So like coming back to the ends, this is what we do. We do this every day. We just wait to go home to get home from school and then run out on the roads. So by the time I hit 12, it was weed, girls, and rap music. Like that was my thing. Just from there. So the rest of secondary school, like in the 3rd year, I had detention every single day for a year because I never did homework. And like, even if I've got detention, I'm not you're keeping me here. I'm not going to do my homework while I'm here. It's called homework. And
when I tell you we were the same person apart from the weed girls and rap music, for me it was more like, I was into cigarettes and pop, I think, at that age. But the detention thing, I never did my homework. I was like, I'm not doing homework. I don't care about it enough. The only homework I'd do would be English because I enjoyed doing it. So like I'll do some English lit homework because it involved reading and I liked reading. I was doing it anyway, so why not? I got
a B in my mock English exam and my teacher stood at the front of the class and said, "What were you smoking that day?"
What happened that day?
Yeah, what was you smoking that day?
Keep smoking it.
Yeah, like, I got a beat. But I'm good with language. Like, language has always kept my interest.
Language is interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing, man.
But like, I did the same thing because I told you I stopped doing all my sports and stuff. And so even I got to a point where I was like, I'm not even doing PE. If I'm not, because I came into my secondary school swimming for the school.
Sheesh.
Playing netball, playing tennis, and a little bit of athletics. I used to do not high jump, long jump, and a little bit of running, but I wasn't the best at it. But by the end of year 7, I wasn't doing anything, right? Jeez. By year 8, I was making excuses to not be in PE because I was like, I'm not doing it competitively, so why would I even do PE?
Yeah,
this is stupid, right? So now I wasn't doing PE, and then my teacher one day got so fed up with me because she was my teacher from the start. So she saw how I came in, and I guess she just wasn't equipped to deal with whatever was going on with me, right? So she's like, one day she got so sick of me. She was like, you're not even doing forward rolls. We're in gym. Like, you're not even do a forward roll. Linda, do a forward roll. I was like, I'm not doing. I sat down, crossed my legs on this mat, and I was like, I'm not doing it. It's like detention. I said, okay. So my day finished 3:30 or whatever, and then I had to come and sit in detention. I sat with, because they could only keep you an hour, right? I sat with this lady until 4:25. I'm still sat there cross-legged. I'm not doing this forward roll. One of the male PE teachers, used to love him. He was a great guy. He came in. He was like, why are you guys in here? Because we were in the gym. He's like, why are you guys in here still? And then, you know, my teacher, Miss Atherton, was like, well, Linda won't listen to me. I've had to keep her in detention. And so Mr. Stallard, he's like, what does she need to do? Miss Atherton's like, well, Linda needs to do a forward roll. And as soon as she does one forward roll, she can leave. So Mr. Stallard looks at his watch and knows obviously there's 5 minutes left. He says, Linda, there's 5 minutes. You could sit here for 5 minutes and then leave because you can go. Or you could just do a forward roll now and we can leave you alone. I said, okay, I'll do a forward roll. That was it. But
it's how adults deal with you.
It's how adults deal with you. And then for me, it was also like, I just couldn't be bothered with my stuff. And the worst thing that happened to me was I found out I can still get good grades without trying. And that's honestly the worst thing that happened to me in my life. I genuinely look back and go,
only.
Let me tell you why. Because it made me lazy. It made me procrastinate. It made me put things off when I didn't need to put them off. I think everything happens for a reason, so whatever.
What do you call them? We match.
Yeah.
Like we match.
Like I'd go in, I'd get, oh look, Linda's got a B, great. Linda's got an A, great. I didn't do anything, right? And so when you get that, especially in the subjects you enjoy, you think you can do that with everything, and you can't do that with everything. In year 7, I was in top group for maths.
Yeah.
By year 9, I was in bottom group.
Sega.
My mum said, what is this? Because my teachers are not picking up there's an issue. Because there's 4 different groups. So there's top group, 2 middle groups, and then bottom group. So I dropped 4 groups, right? My mum found out at parent-teachers conference and was like, sorry, what? Tutor? You're getting a tutor today. She got me a tutor that night, and I went to a tutor like 3 times a week, every week. By the time I got to year 11, I was in the second group. I still hadn't made it to top, but I was in the second one, and she was like, oh, I'm fine with that. At least you can now get a C or a B on your paper and not be forced to sit a foundation paper.
No, it's a whole, but again, it's how adults deal with you. Because even in my school, like, and the school I work in is incredible. Like they take on, they have SEN children. Like I said, we had 2 Elsas. One is retiring at the end of this term, so I'll be the sole Elsa in the school. But they're willing to take on board those emotional issues and put the stuff behind it that needs to be done. Because even just today we was talking about for next year how my schedule is gonna go, because if I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna be the only one, it's a lot of children. So I'm going to need days when I'm not in class. I'm not in a classroom. I'm just talking to kids and I'm just trying to help them do what they're doing. But you need everyone to be on board. And the difficult thing is that you need the teachers and the parents as well as the child to get on board. And usually there is resistance from one of those parties. And sometimes it's the teacher. Like, I've had full blown, like, you can't talk to the kid like that. Like, you see that child there, when you talk to them like that, they don't know how to process that.
No.
In a rational way. They don't know how to say, well, he's mad right now, but fuck him. No, what that means is he's mad at me, and he's mad at me because I am not worth anything. And so everybody should be mad at me. It's no different to my home life. So as soon as you approach a kid like that, like you setting him up to feel there's nothing that's going to happen in your classroom, nothing at all that's going to make this relationship work.
They've internalized it already.
Yeah, and you're an adult. So, and that's the bit that kills me, because I'll tell them all the time, remember who the adult is. Because even me, myself, just the other day, a kid, he wound me the fuck up. Like, and I mean, he wound me up. And he wound me up to the point where I had to realize, look what I am doing. He doesn't know any better, but I do. So look what I am doing. Hold on a second. Can you, here, let me hand you off for a minute. Let me go and compose my fucking self for a minute. Yeah. Calm my shit down and approach this with new eyes and a new direction, and we see where we can go with it. Because he's in distress and he doesn't know how to verbalize it or to express it.
Yeah.
Now, his distress is causing me distress, but I'm fucking grown. I know how to deal with this. So let me remove myself and analyze it for a minute. And it's because, like, especially in the school environment, it's highly pressured. So teachers do not have the time. They still got 29 other kids to educate, rather than to be fucking with this one right here.
It kind of makes me think of, it's almost like it's an older version of shaking the baby.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The baby's crying because the baby cannot tell you that they don't feel well, or they're tired and they can't fall asleep, or they're hungry, or they can't.
It's exactly
crying.
that.
So you, as an adult,
have to work out
to figure it out.
Result.
Right.
Yeah, you have to work
and if
out
you're stressed, don't pick up the baby, because then you
put the stress onto them.
Right.
And it's exactly that. But the thing is, that's humanity. And all the way through, like the entire way through our lives, that's what this shit is.
Yeah.
Because they are grown adults who have no idea how to express themselves, who don't know how who just don't know how to, like, I know I have a good circle of friends, like, see Locksmith, there's nothing I couldn't say to him that I'm going through that he's not gonna sit and we talk about this stuff here. And like I said, free from judgment, which is a really important thing. It's free from judgment. Even the advice that someone offers, it's not like you have to do this. It's just, this is one possible outcome. And so I have a good group of friends. And I mean, like, there's 4 or 5 of us that I can say anything to. Absolutely anything. And they can do the same with me. And to have that out as a grown man, as an adult and a male, especially like when males, like, suicide is the highest cause, the biggest killer of males between like 20 and 45 or some shit like that. Because they have no one to turn to. And
you're taught you shouldn't turn to anyone.
You shouldn't. You just deal with it. And especially Britain, stiff upper lip. The mentality is you just swallow it and you carry on. But this is why you've got men who go home and beat their wives, because they are dealing with something they don't know how to express. And the only thing they can do is, you've wound me up. And the important thing I always tell these kids is that it's okay. Like, anger is okay. If someone does something that makes you angry, fair enough. But once you respond in a particular way to that anger, because what you have to realize is, if they did that same thing to 100 different people, you would get 50 different reactions, which means your reaction lies with you. So how do you deal with your reaction?
Yes. And
because we don't have the tools, we don't have that thing to sit back and say, like, fuck, I'm fucking up here. Like, my reaction is over the top. And we don't have the tools to even look at ourselves in that way. And, like, luckily I do. I have that thing that makes me say, like, as a kid in my teens, I was wild. Like, see, driving a car, road rage. You've got no idea. Yeah, I'm the guy that gets out of his car.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like, so serious road rage.
But I had to analyze.
Yeah.
That's not them. That's me. That's my response to this situation. Why do I respond like that? All right. Why? work on that. And then you realise someone does something, and then go left.
Yeah.
Take a left. He's not in front of you anymore, or he's not there. That moment has passed.
Yeah.
How long do you want that moment to last?
Never gonna see them again.
Yeah. Now I'm in a whole different moment, and I'm just driving to my destination, and that just changing my way of thinking, just like that, has helped me a great deal. When my baby mom was pregnant with my daughter, so I got out the car, and I went to open the boot because I had my coat behind the boot. So I've gone to open the boot, and she locked it from the inside, so I couldn't do. And I went and I opened it. Why'd you do that? I opened the door. She's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, because what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go open my boot, take out a crowbar, and then what happens?
Yeah.
And just those little, oh shit, it's not even them. It's me.
Yeah.
It's me. It's my reaction. And that's what I'm trying to explain to these kids in anger management right now with what I do in school. Is that, yeah, it's okay to be angry, but don't base what you're about to do next on that anger.
Yes. And you can't control what the other person does. You can't control if they make you angry.
No.
But you can control what you
yourself.
do. Yeah.
You can control you,
100%.
man. So yeah, that and we went way off again because I talk for fun.
No, but it's all relevant because it all goes back to the tools that we wish we had in school.
Yeah, 100%.
The tools that you're thankfully able to give where you're in the position that you're in, and that we need more of it.
100. And do you know the worst thing is that I just found out, like I went to the conference yesterday, they're not training any new else's for the new year. Like, so for next year, there's nobody else that's going to be trained in doing what I do. So
to give a reason?
No, and I imagine it's to do with funding.
Yeah.
I have to imagine it's to do with that. But the stuff we know now about the human brain, about child psychology, about how our brain grows and how we adapt to things, this is supposed to be at the forefront of everything.
Yeah.
Like in your workplace, you're supposed to have somebody like that. Yeah, like all of these things are like you're just supposed to be able to go to someone and vent. Like even if here's a punching bag, just work it out for 20 minutes. Go and swing. We need, and all of us need different things because all of us are different people.
We're built differently.
Yeah, of course. So there has to be something, and the worst thing is because we're so money oriented as a society, we can't take a break. Like if everyone stayed in their house for 2 weeks, the common cold would be eradicated.
What?
Because it's passed on, right?
True.
It's a virus that's spread on. So if everyone stayed in their house for 2 weeks while the virus died, you wouldn't be able to pass it on. Therefore, no one would ever have the flu again. But no company, and this is the bizarre thing, there is not a corporation or a company in the world that will say, let's take 2 weeks out.
No.
Even though this means no one will ever have a sick day based on the flu for the rest of time.
No.
But we don't focus on that. We focus on let's make money now.
Yeah.
So we need to pause. We need to pause humanity and take a step back and say, what are we really doing?
100%.
Like, where are we going?
You know why we won't do that though? Because the people that make decisions make a lot of money, and they want to keep making a lot of money.
Of course they do.
It's hoarding at this point though. Like you literally cannot spend. I look at some of these like net worths of corporations, especially because of people you'll never really know how much they have because they don't technically own it because they don't want to pay tax on it. But corporations, I'm like, this isn't real money.
Yeah, no, there isn't enough paper to print. Yeah, no, you can't print it out.
Like, realistically, what is what's a billion?
That's the thing. It's 11. It takes 11 days. A million seconds is 11 days. A billion seconds is like 32 years. A trillion seconds is 1,000 times a billion. So what the fuck is
what is it? Because it can't exist. No, it has to be. It's a concept.
It is a concept.
Right.
It's just a numerical. It's algebra.
But the problem with having something that doesn't exist be as powerful as it is because we stop looking at human value. We just start looking at this fake concept, right? And you're like, I'm basing your value as a human being not on humanity, but on how much of this fake stuff
that you can give
is
me
listed on a computer somewhere. That doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense, and it infuriates me probably more so now after this general election. But because I'm like, so we just really because you know, going back to what you said before, when you don't know, how can you do better, right? If you don't know better, how can you do better? But they're doing that by design. People that know better are purposely making sure you don't know, because you can't be manipulated once you know.
No, exactly. But
they
which
can't
is why
guide you and do this, and you know.
If you look at the right wing currently, they're anti-university, because they say it's all left-leaning ideas in university. It's not left-leaning ideas. It's knowledge.
It's education.
Yeah. When you know more stuff, you tend to be more left-leaning. Because you know what I mean?
I had this exact argument at a previous job that I had with directors of the company. So just to clarify, right? They owned the company I worked for, and the company was a renewable energy company, and they were voting conservative. And I said, first of all, you're a walking.
You get the Home Alone, yeah. You get the Home Alone slap in the face.
Because how could you be a renewable company? Your profits are based on renewable technology. You're voting for a party that is actively working against the use of renewable. They're not just saying climate change isn't real. They're saying we're going to scrap funding.
They literally scrapped funding for solar panels, for investment into solar energy about 3 years ago. We did just after Brexit.
2 years ago. So I remember that.
I remember it too.
Because I tweeted and I wanted to at them so hard. So I've never. But you know what's funny? As soon as I tweeted a general like, "Ha, idiots!" Right? A girl I worked with, she just sent me laughing emojis because she knew exactly what I was talking about.
That's where we're at.
Voting against your interests because of a hope that one day you're going to earn this fake amount of money and you don't want to pay for other people who haven't had to get to that. How insane is that? You're going to run down your company that you've been fortunate enough to work your ass off and get in this economy. You're going to run it down to the ground. Because what?
Yeah. But do you know what this is?
You're going to go broke. You're going to work your fingers to the bone and go broke. Because what?
These are people who suffered childhood trauma.
Yes.
And haven't dealt with it.
Yes.
Because they don't recognize humanity. They don't see, and this is what I mean, everybody needs therapy.
And we had this argument because they were, one of them was like, I haven't been to university, but I find that all the people that go to university, you come back and you always, vote Labour and vote this. And I'm just like, but do you know why? Because when you go to, and this is not to be elitist in any way, but when you get that kind of knowledge, you understand a little bit more, just a little bit more, how the world works and what is the most effective way to run a society that claims to be a democracy, right? You can't have a capitalist structure with absolutely no elements of socialism. It doesn't work.
Yeah, no, it's not going to work.
Because everyone's going to die.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Everyone just dies.
There's going to be no one left.
You've got like Trump. We've deregulated more things than any other government.
Great.
Yeah, but you've let people put shit into the fucking water system.
You've deregulated more things when already Flint hasn't had clean water since 2014. So now what other town is going to run out of?
And now if you look in India, they sell oxygen. And I went to.
Did you go to? Have you heard about the oxygen bars?
Yes, exactly. Listen, when I was long time ago, when I was signed to Sony. I went to the Sony BMG Christmas party, right? So I was in there, Will Young, Gareth Gates, Tony D. Right? Me and Ferricus was in there, right? We was in this bar. We drunk the whole bar dry. So I was pissy wissy. But I know there was two parties. That was one, and then the second party is where this happened. Okay. So we went to the bar. I was sitting at the bar, and Fallacy was standing right next to me. Remember Fallacy?
Yeah, I do.
UK legend.
I do.
Yeah, did his thing. He was sitting next to me, and they had flavored oxygen at the bar because it helps to sober you up. So I'm sitting there sucking the life out of this flavored oxygen. And this has been going back a long time. But now it's a necessity in certain countries because the pollution is so bad. But again, you can only do it if you're rich, if you have the money to do it. So poor people got to breathe shit. And the worst thing is that people in this country have no understanding is that as recently as the fucking 50s, you had pea super frogs. They called them pea supers because they were green. Yeah, and you couldn't see in front of your face. That was because of industry. Yeah. So poor people, do you know why West End is rich and the East End is poor? Because of the way the wind blows. the wind used to blow all the factory smoke towards the East End, not to the West. So the poor people got poisoned and not the rich people.
Wow.
So that's why.
That's sick.
That's why the West End is money
sick.
and the East End used to be poor. Because God damn,
now it's not.
look where we are right now. We gentrified as fuck. But so, and again, information. Just taking on information. So these things, because people don't realize that and understand that, they have no notion of how they vote or what they do or think is going to affect their own life. You have, do you remember the anti-war protest outside Parliament on the grass?
When was this?
It was from the Iraq War, which was.
Oh yes, 2000. Well, because 9/11 happened in 2001, so surely
so yeah, just after then.
Yeah.
So they had this anti-war demonstration near the House of Parliament on this piece of grass. What they did was eventually they said it's an eyesore. We don't want people coming and seeing this stuff. And if you think about what an eyesore is, it's something that's offensive to your eyes.
Yeah.
So if it's offensive to your eyes, look that way. Yeah, just turn your head. If you want to ignore it, turn your head. Yeah, in the same way you do with homeless people. Turn your head.
Same way they do.
Right.
Oh my God.
But what they did was they passed this thing that stopped people from campaigning
assembling in that area.
And now, so they had everyone on side with like, yes, and I saw we don't want people doing that. But you know what it means? If there's ever an issue that affects you personally, you no longer have the right to protest in that same fashion. But because it didn't affect you, you didn't give a fuck.
You don't have that empathy.
Yeah, it's there. That's where we are. Look, we now have a prime minister who said, watermelon smiles.
Listen,
which means, you see, for me, that means there are people I work with, there are people I pass on the street on a daily basis, there are people all around this country who think it's okay to have a racist prime minister.
Not even think it's okay, want to have. There are people that wanted this.
Yeah.
That's the bit, because I know these people exist, right? And that's why that's why it went from anger very quickly to sadness.
It did.
Because I was just very reminded that, because I said this before, that part, seriously. But it was more so like, initially I was thinking about it and I was thinking, okay, so all of these people, right? Because in the past you could say, you know, I vote Tory because finances, lower taxes, I run a small business, and
at this
you
point,
knew what you were getting.
At
with
this point,
one.
you can't say it anymore. Yeah,
you can't say that. You cannot say that. I'll tell you why you can't use the economy. Because 160 something economists look at the Labour manifesto and said it's fully costed. Those same 160 something economists looked at the Tory manifesto, 2 weeks ago, and said, wait, there's 3 billion missing here.
Yeah.
Then they went on television and said, no, 50,000 more new nurses for the NHS. Well, 19,000 of them will be retained. Okay, so that brings you down to 38. And then it was a further 12 or something that would be nurses' assistants. They wouldn't be qualified nursing practitioners.
And this is the same government that cut nurses' bursary. Yeah, so they're in debt to do this shit.
Then they said, you know, so okay, fine. So we cannot say it was because of the economy. We cannot, with any real conviction, say that it had anything to do with the economy.
Brexit's fucking to do with the economy either.
Brexit. All right. What was the issue with Brexit? Well, you know, we weren't going to get a Brexit with Jeremy Corbyn. Did he say that? Or was that Lib Dems? Well, you know, he said he wanted to do another vote. Would you not want to vote on the deal?
But
well, you know,
had
Brexit
a media,
is Brexit.
a very complicit media.
Let me tell you, everyone should stop paying their TV license today.
100%, man.
Today. I don't have it, so I don't have a TV.
Man.
But anybody paying, you are being mugged off in a way that is unreal. You are paying £150 a year for right-wing propaganda. That's
the key. You see the fact it's so, they have voted, not just like, the funny thing about this election is that Labour couldn't be not just the weakest Conservative government in a long time, but an incredibly far-right Conservative
It's the
government.
most radically far-right Tory government we've had for a while.
Like, it's worrying. We've seen just from Brexit, the how issues of racism and things have come. And the thing is, they're so dumb. Like, it's just the Europe is mostly got white folk in it. You see, India and Africa, they're not in the EU.
They're not trying to
they
come
can
there.
still
they're
come
like,
here.
They're not trying to have.
It's
oh
bizarre.
my god! And you know when they say about the EU, right? And they say, we don't want you know, these people in Europe making decisions for us.
They don't
like
make any. We have a veto.
No. But what do you mean?
I can't.
What do you mean?
They don't know what they mean.
What decisions do you mean?
They
do
don't
you
know
mean
what
how
they mean.
until we joined the European Union, we had nothing in our laws that said that
human rights. Human rights.
Let's take that aside, because you know they could argue we've got, you know, the UN, we've got NATO, because they do everything, right? No, let's move on from that. Let's just little laws, right? That say, hey, men and women should be paid the same. Hey, you can't make somebody work more than what, it was 40. You can't make anyone work more than 40 hours a week. You can't make them. If they choose to, fine, but you can't make them as part of their role. You know where that came from? The EU. I studied European Union law, right? I studied European legal studies because I wanted to have a year abroad, and I didn't realize how amazing that information was, right? Because I was going into it like, I'm going to get a year to go and fuck around abroad. And I certainly did do that. Do not get me wrong.
But you learn
But it helped me because I was forced to do a European law module in my second year. And learning that, and then watching the Brexit campaigning and watching Remain not bring up any facts. Anything.
Do you know what? That's the one thing about this.
Because
the
Leave did their job.
Is so weak.
Leave did their job.
Oh, they did.
Leave lied to everybody. That's what they came to do.
Yeah, of course.
They told us the next day. Nigel Farage sat there the next day and told us.
Yeah. Farage is out of a job if we leave. His whole shtick is, I'm anti-European, let's get us out. But as soon as we're out, he's fucked. He doesn't have a job anymore.
He doesn't need one though.
No, at this particular point, Jesus Christ,
he's got deals banking on this.
He's got a fucking show on LBC.
Let me tell you something.
But yeah, we've gone way off. Let me talking about politics, because my head's gonna go through the roof.
I'm just like, I'm gonna burst out crying at any moment because I haven't grieved it yet. It's too soon.
Should we go back to school?
Let's go back to school. Let's go back to primary school, because that was the best one.
That was the
safe space for me.
God damn, learning to read and write. It was the greatest thing in the world, man.
Sitting there reading books, learning about the world, thinking that people were good. Oh, what a nice
time. Imagine that. Do you remember when you used to think everyone was good?
I thought that everyone to their core was good. Everyone
was good, and
that people, you know, they just made a series of mistakes, and now.
Yeah, and you get to see. Do you know the worst thing is the fact is systemic, because like I said, working in school, the education system we have is not fit for purpose currently. Like, we teach just enough for you to be smart enough
to take a test,
not to rebel. Yeah, you can take a test and you can get a job, and then that job will take up so much of your time. You don't have the time to think in order to worry about
or process anything.
Like, we still teach kids handwriting, how to do joined up handwriting. I still write raps in a book, right? I write my rhymes on paper.
Really? There's handwriting lessons?
Yes.
In 2019?
School, in 2019, it's handwriting lessons. Now, and this is my issue, is because you are dealing with a generation who will rarely pick up a pen.
By the time these kids are out of school, they won't be
at the moment, you see, I've got two, 10 and 7. If they don't write in school, they don't write. Everything's on an iPad, a phone.
Right.
It's all tap. You tap. We still teach this thing, and we take time out to teach it, which means that 20 or 30 minutes where you've got kids doing this thing joining up their writing. Yeah. In this, because we adhere to this tradition that we're stuck in. And like, did you ever see that tweet that tradition is peer pressure from dead people?
No, but that's amazing.
Listen,
that's a great way to put it.
I read that shit and it fucked me up. Tradition is peer pressure from dead people. We are literally, because my stepdad's mum and her sister, but God rest their souls, man. But rest in peace to both of them now. But if you look at a card they write, a Christmas card, they have identical handwriting. Because they learned how to write like that in school.
That italics,
and there's a generation that learned italics. They learn how to write like that. Now we in a generation, we tap. Kids go on fucking Charlie Sloth. They be on, like, no matter what you do, it's in your phone. It's, you type it in. Why are you wasting so much time teaching these kids to curve their T's to the H's and how they've got to make their S's and then go on to a different letter from an S? You're making them do this when they are going to leave school and never pick up a pen. They're going to use a keyboard or a pad at all times. That's what they're going to do because it's their generation.
I don't even mind having some kind of teaching of handwriting so they can make notes.
Oh no, you should be able to write.
This cursive thing,
it's unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. But that's where we are.
Do something with technology that will help them.
We still adhere to ridiculous notions. I mean, even like, see something like algebra. It's handy to know if you ever in a supermarket and want to work out the best price of something. But generally, it says 3 for 1, and then it's got a price of 1 by itself. You can add that up. You can add it and work it out.
How much is it per litre? Is it liquid? How much is it per gram?
It's not a thing that's necessary to know, but we still have children leaving primary school illiterate. They can't read or write. So you're focusing on getting their handwriting correct. And now it's 2019. I'm going to say at least 80% of my school has parents who are not born in this country. They are children of immigrants in my school. And that's Polish, Ukrainian, Ghanaian, Congolese, Nigerian, Spanish, French, Italian. Whatever it may be, wherever they come from, this is first generation living here, right? These kids, you are trying to inflict a model on them that is so out of date and so irrelevant to how life is about to unfold. We're literally educating children for jobs that don't exist yet, because we're about to we're already in a digital age, but it's only going to get more so. It's going to become the automated. In 5 years time, I doubt you'll be able to get a job on the till at Sainsbury's.
It won't exist.
Because even now in my local, they've just wiped out a whole nother row of tills to put in the thing where you swipe your stuff, and I steal from you every time. Let me listen.
Do you?
Oh my!
I've never tried. I've been too scared.
Do you know what? I'm not gonna front, right? Since I was a kid, stealing.
You're a bit klepto.
Oh my! I'm full on klepto. You know? Listen, stealing.
Is it the rush?
Getting something for free. Is my shit. I've moved house now, right? But where I used to live, there was a petrol station with a co-op at the end. And every time I used to be in a queue, I would put something in my pocket. And I used to go to the shop 3 times a day sometimes. And
Did you get caught?
No, never. I go places now, and I hope my kids never ever listen to this shit. But I steal everywhere. If I go to a shop, like if I go Wilkinson's and I'm buying stuff, I'll steal something. If I go Sainsbury's to do my shopping, I'll steal something.
And you've never been caught?
Nah.
That's why you still do it, because you've never been caught. I
steal shit. But because I've stolen shit since I was 9 years old, I steal stuff. And I don't even look at it as wrong. It's not wrong. You're not even gonna. It's a packet of fruit pastels. Is it look? I'm just gonna put in my pocket. I'm standing by the counter. You ever be just by the counter and look at chewing gum?
I mean, I'd pick it up and put it in the basket.
Yeah, you see, I don't have that. And you see that self-service? I steal the most.
Don't let the doors go off.
What the fuck, the door? If the shit weigh the same, they don't even know you've done it. And if it's light stuff, you can put 2-3 things like a packet of ham or beef or a turkey, right?
You just out here stealing.
Put it on top of your packet of chicken, your packet of chicken breast or your chicken leg. Put your ham slices and your fucking beef slice on top of it. Swipe it through, put it in the bag. The computer don't know the difference.
Oh my god!
It's not counting. But everything's gonna be automated in future. Again, I derailed the conversation.
It's so good.
But it's how we live. So we're teaching children stuff that is completely, it's unnecessary for them. And in a place where foreign language, like English, is not their first language.
Yeah.
So they're leaving school and they still can't read or write. Not to a standard
that they should.
So you're filling their head with all these advanced informations and stuff. and you've got children who at home they don't speak English.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. So you need to account for that. You need to take that into account and work on it. So the education system as it is, much like every other system, the NHS they run into the ground, the prison system they run into the ground, the court system they run into the ground, policing they've run into the ground, nursing, NHS they've run into the ground.
God.
Anything that is socially funded, anything. And the worst thing is, we are society. Yeah. It's us.
It's our decision.
Yeah, it's
we're letting them do it.
We're
championing the.
No, we getting it in. Like we letting them run through, man. But yeah,
right, let's move away from it because we were gonna get back into politics again, and we're both just gonna get angry. And
let's go back to school. Where was we? Secondary school.
No, that was So we were talking about secondary school. So overall, basically, secondary school for you were just like have fun.
Was a lot of fun, man. I made good friendships. I learned how to socialize properly.
Good.
I didn't. In my third year, I copied the guy behind me. I copied his maths for a whole year. There was at one point I wrote the same page out every maths lesson. I never got past a certain page. I picked a middle page in the book and just kept writing out the same shit all the time. School was not educational for me. You've got hormones going on. You've got teachers again who don't understand you and don't know how to deal with you. Like I threw a chair at a teacher.
Same. I threw a chair at, the anger management lady? I threw a chair at her.
Did you? No, this was my geography teacher. I launched a chair. Like I'm a legend in my secondary school for throwing a chair at my secondary school teacher. Like I told the PE teacher I'll get my dad to come and beat him up.
Wow.
Secondary school was. Do you know what? I can tell you this story. I'll tell you the funniest story in the world, right?
Go on.
Boom. When I was like 15, I got a gun.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
And do you remember? You won't remember because this is the same thing. When you were 7, I'm talking about like 93.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, like 92, 93. You was.
I was probably in Djibouti. Yeah.
So like 93, I got a gun. So what you do when you're that age and you've got a gun is you go to school with your gun, right? To show people that you've got a gun.
You've got a gun. Oh my God. So
I went to school with my gun.
Oh my God.
Now this day we had games, and what used to happen was when you had games. You'd go for lunch, and then everyone would throw their bags at the fence, collect their bags, get on the coach, and go to games because we used to go far away, from the school. So there was a Jordan bag. It was maroon or beige. Not the maroon or beige. It was like maroon or burgundy, just this Jordan bag.
Dark.
Everyone fucking had one, right? So I throw my bag by the fence. Someone else has thrown their Jordan bag by the fence.
Oh my God.
Right. Now, this was my plan to show. I've already shown everyone in school my gun.
Yep.
I'm going to go to my youth center in the evening.
And show everyone
everyone my gun. So, we was in, the youth center was in, not far from here. It was on, it's called the Highway. Just off Tower Bridge.
Okay.
It's the Ensign Center. So, I was going to go there and show off my gun. Anyway, we've all gone to games. I've opened my bag. This ain't my bag.
It's not your bag.
Right.
Oh,
so
God.
Boom. So anyway, gone home, knowing someone's got my bag. He's only gonna come in tomorrow. But I've gone to the club that night. Now I've gone with 2 graffiti pens. I'm making myself sound like a hoodlum. Like I was a body when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I'm past it now.
Right.
I'm grown. So I had a graffiti pen up each sleeve, because what you do when you have it, you just pop it out your sleeve, and while it's still in your sleeve, you tag at either a bus or a bus shot or wherever you got it past the window.
Concealed.
Yeah, it's concealed. Yeah. So me, 2 of my friends, we were walking to this center. My friend had a bit of, he called it black toenail. It was ash, bit hashish.
Oh, okay.
Right, he had that on him. We were walking. We were walking behind Aldgate East Police Station.
Oh my God.
Right, 2 policemen went from behind us to across the road and then in front of us. Right, I will never in my life forget this, because they nicked my friend for a piece of hashish that was not as big as my thumbnail. It was so small, like he had a joint, if that. But they nicked him, and I can still picture him sitting on the curb crying because his mum was going to fuck him up. Right, but I'm there, I'm getting a search. I've got 2 pens, 2 graffiti pens like here. They patted me down. They ain't done a full pat, so they've missed the things in my sleeve.
Yeah.
Boom. Now imagine I'd have had a gun that day. My life would have been completely different to the life I currently have.
Yeah.
Like way
very different path.
And then the funniest thing is I went to school the next day and the kid came to me with my bag, and the look on his face, he was so shook of me. For the rest of school, he was frightened of me because I brought a gun to school. Like he was not fucking with me at all.
Ooh.
But yeah, like so secondary school, I just fucked up. But I went to school because that's what you had to do. My mum said go there, and my mum hit harder than anybody I've ever been hit by in my life. Like my mum will throw a lick down. So yeah, I go to school. Sometimes I might be late, but I go to school.
I went.
So yeah, so like I used to just go to school, come home, and then run these streets, like just run out on the road with whoever I could and get up to all sorts of mischief. So yeah, secondary school was mad fun. Like I made good friendships that have lasted me 30 years. I like literally, these are still guys I talk to. I've just arranged to meet my man in February. We've set the date and all sorts. Like yeah, we getting it in, we're doing a thing. But yeah, so secondary school was mad fun for me. Then I went to college. I got expelled after a month.
What did you do?
I chased the kid with a chopper.
What? Wait, why? What even? What?
Because he stole my RoboCop 3 video. You gotta understand, we lived a different life in the 90s.
Not even RoboCop.
RoboCop
3.
The literal worst movie. It might have even been 4. Like I mean, by this stage we had got to the worst RoboCops in existence. It was proper shit. But
was it worth it?
No, not at all. Not at all. So imagine, my mum's had to come in and the headmasters had to show her the chopper that I chased, and I went carnival with this chopper.
Jesus.
Yeah, this was it was a hatchet. Like I went with a hatchet, because I was such a dickhead. Like the proper, as a kid, I didn't have no behavior, so I had to sit with my mum shooting daggers at me while this man shows her the meat cleaver.
Isn't that the worst bit? Isn't that the worst bit? Not the beating.
No,
the anticipation.
Oh, the anticipation of the beating.
When they look at you and you know what they're saying.
And do you know the worst thing? I was college age, so this is fist. This is not slaps. This is fist. That's coming.
My mum wasn't hitting me then.
Oh no, sheesh. My mum Irish. Like they like African parents get it in, but my mum Irish. Like she will swing.
Oh my God.
She will swing. So like, and the worst is my mum. First of all, you can't hit a woman, so your hands is by your side. Secondly, it's my mum, so my hands is by my side. I'm not even trying to appear threatening. So you just gotta take the shit. You gotta take your licks. So yeah, I sat in a room with the fucking headmaster while he pulled out. If you saw the meat cleaver, I think about the kid I was.
What happened to her face when she saw that?
Listen,
I'm sure she was
I didn't look at her. I don't know what her face looked like, because I did not look at her. I said, "Oh, I'm fucked. I'm fucked." And then I went to a sixth form that was attached to an all-girls school. So there was only 6 boys in the entire sixth form, and I can tell you how that ended up. Yeah, so I stopped. Like, and the worst thing is, it wasn't even that bad, because I stopped going in December when I opened my eyes and looked out the window and it was dark, and I said, bollocks if I'm going fucking school in the dark. And so I went back to bed, and then I went on the road. So yeah, I kind of that was it. College finished for me round about December 95, and I never went back to education at all. I went out on the road, and then by 98 I'm lying, 97 I decided I can rap, so what can I do with it? And then by 98 I had met some people who encouraged me to rap, and then the rest is history. Like when I tell you rap saved my life, it's not a joke. Yeah. Because I would have been like my friends that I still talk to that just go to jail for fun. Yeah. You know, or are serving 30 years for like ridiculousness. So rap literally saved my life. Because I was headed down that path. It was just, I went through a little thing related to crime where I said, you've got to be a monkey or a gorilla, and I didn't want to be a gorilla. So I said, I can rap a little bit, man. I can rap a little bit. Let me see where this take me. Let me see where this take me. And so it did alright, man, because now I'm educating other people's kids, which is not a bad thing.
Not a bad thing at all. Yeah. And doing a good job, from what I can tell.
I don't know. know about that.
No,
we shall see. We shall see.
Listen, you've imparted wisdom on me, and I'm not a child, so I can only imagine.
God, that's
only imagine. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Is that it? No more questions?
There's one more segment.
Oh, okay.
So you're gonna get a couple more questions, right? So this is the final segment of the show. It's called Mahakama. Now you know another Swahili word. Mahakama, and it means court. Technically, it's high court, but court is boring because it's just courty.
Okay.
Because British colony. But I went for Mahakama because that's in Swahili.
Because that's how it goes.
Exactly. So basically, this segment allows me to judge people or things.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I'm trying to be less judgmental in my life, and if I can hyper focus it once every 2 weeks. Just on the podcast, I'll be a better human being.
Yeah, I get that. I understand your thinking. I get the reasoning behind that. All right.
Sense.
Okay.
So 2019 has been the year, in my opinion, of DaBaby, Megan Thee Stallion, and Lizzo in terms of new music, right? Mm-hmm. So they're like almost like the cool kids right now, taking it back to the school reference, right? And then they've been really, really great examples of resilience for me as well, because DaBaby and Megan Thee Stallion both lost a parent just as they were getting some fame.
Oh, really?
So right at the cusp of them kind of being, breaking through.
Yeah, DaBaby, my barber put me onto DaBaby like a year ago, and he was like, this guy gonna be the next big thing. And
look at what is happening, right?
My barber
but he lost his dad just before the break, like literally the music was about to come out, right? He lost his dad. Meg, she lost her mum. So, and look at them, right? They're working hard, they're thriving. Lizzo, the example of resilience I have for her, I think there's loads of them, but the one I love is, that song Truth Hurts that was number one. There's a song, it was mostly number one in the US. It was a Billboard 100. It was on for like 7 weeks, right? No, it's fine. Can I just point out I'm making all sorts of faces? All sorts of because I barely know who Lizzo is. No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. So, in fact, I'll show you a picture. So, I know who she is because she had her ass out of the thing the other day. Yeah, I know. That's what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, we're getting there. Right. Okay. So, this song, Truth Hurts, she actually released it 2 years ago. Okay. And it only went number one in this year. So it took a time to build up. It took a long time, right? Now, with that song, she actually got into a little bit of hot water. So once it had been number one, so this is now in October of this year, a producer and songwriter called Justin Raisin accused her of stealing the famous line that says, "I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch." That's how it kind of starts. Okay. Right? And it's one that everybody loves. Everyone loves this line. He's saying he wrote that. She's not paying any royalty, she's not giving any writer's credit to him, etc., etc. So he then goes out and puts it to the court of public opinion, right? And everyone starts going, well, did you steal that line? Or what happened here, Lizzo? It wasn't until the whole of Twitter basically got involved, because you know how Twitter does, I know how Twitter moves. It wasn't until then that it was discovered by the Twitter investigators, as I like to call them, that it was actually, what's her name? Let me get her name right. Mina Lioness is what she goes by. She's a British singer. And she tweeted that line a couple of months before it ended up in Lizzo's song. But Twitter found that out. Because Twitter goes through everything, right? People got too much time on their fucking hands. A lot of time. I wish I had any of that time. It would be great. And I'm a Twitter don. Same. And like I'm bad at this Twitter life, man. You must know, because I know you follow me. I follow you. Yeah. I'm bad at this Twitter life. I love Twitter. It's my favorite place. It's horrible, but it's brilliant at the same time. It's honestly. Anyway, so Twitter found out that it was actually Nina Lioness that posted those words in February 2017, and Lizzo didn't actually file the trademark for the song until August 2017. It wasn't until Twitter did all that Lizzo then said, no, actually, it was Nina. It wasn't this producer that's trying. It was Nina. We've now given her credit. Her royalties, and I've got royalties. Mina came out and was like, oh, okay, I've got royalties now. Cool. Yeah, I'm eating. So it was great. But the thing I wanted to ask was, so we're going to go from mercy or no mercy, right? So mercy or no mercy for using public tweets in your artistry without giving credit. Because had Twitter not found out, she might not have ever credited Nina. No mercy. No mercy. Okay. I tell you why. As a writer, if I see something, and the thing is, like colloquialisms, or a turn of phrase, or certain things, you take that and you expand on it. They're fair game. Yeah, and you make it yours. But
that's what those things are. So when you come and say I'm like, but what she should have done was referenced her in the line or somehow to link it back to where it came from.
Yes.
Yeah, so
without the Twitter blow up. That's how I feel.
like no mercy, no
and
mercy.
And I love Lizzo, and I'm pretty biased when it comes to Lizzo because I think she's great. But I'm going with no mercy.
Yeah, no mercy, man, no mercy.
All right, and so the next one, since we're talking about Lizzo, and you mentioned it already, at the Lakers game, the t-shirt dress with no back and a thong. So it was a Lakers game. I just want to say that again. So the argument was that it was inappropriate in a place where children were because it was a Lakers game. Now, some people have said, well, have you seen the cheerleader outfits? Have we seen what other celebrities have worn? Is it more to do with the fact that Lizzo is fat?
She's a big girl.
And that she doesn't care that some people might not like that, and she still willingly will go out and wear whatever she thinks is cool. So, mercy or no mercy for Lizzo's outfit choice?
Mercy. Mercy for the simple fact that we do live in an age where scantily clad women are... there's a thing called only fucking fans.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a thing called only fans where you can give any gal on road money...
For some nudes.
For nude pictures.
Or feet pictures.
Or feet. Yeah, they don't even got to be nude. Like for any, whatever your fetish is, whatever floats your boat. I ain't even mad at it. But like, I'm about to do it only fucking fans myself. I see the money they're making.
They make a lot of money.
Damn. Listen.
They make a lot of money.
But yeah, like that, in terms of like how we in society, what we view as acceptable and attractive, and like now you see me, I'm a skinny guy. I like a big girl. Me and a skinny girl, we're gonna start a fire once them hip bones start knocking.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like Kukum. We all know the you know the song. I sent you. You saw it. You saw it. Kukum.
Catchy, do you know the whole day?
Listen, there's a because my daughter knows the bashment. My daughter knows 90s bashment like you wouldn't believe. But there's a thing where the man say kukum. That's when you need them a knock. Budoof bath when you're too big and fat. But if you're ordinary, then I you me a chat. And like just like ordinary. So it's kukum if you're marga. It's budoof bath if you're big. But then if you're ordinary, like so you just in the middle right there and we cool.
Right.
But so it's how we perceive certain things.
Yeah.
So if we saw Rihanna walk out in that thing, they'd be like, woo, Rihanna went too far, but god damn. Yeah.
Or I'll take it further. Rihanna, I think, is more on the slim side. What if we said something like Meg Thee Stallion? She's slim thick.
Yeah,
so she's slim up top.
Yeah, but she's thick.
Right.
God damn, yeah.
But if she wore that, it'd be like, look at Megan Thee Stallion's body.
Exactly. So that's why I give her mercy, because it come from, it's not her, it's other people's perceptions of what she's doing. So yeah, that's mercy.
I give her mercy with an asterisk.
Because it was a Lakers game.
No, it's not even that. I don't care. I think children see way worse when they want to. They can opt in on everything.
God damn, on YouTube they see that. She stepped in my house.
And also, what they saw was arse cheeks. They didn't see actual genitalia.
Yeah, they didn't see pum pum or titty or
It's not a big deal for me. The reason for the asterisk is because she sat down on them public
with a
stadium chairs
she should
with her flesh. That for me, I don't know. But in terms of the outfit choice,
I'm giving all sorts of ratings to Lizzo, man. Do your thing.
But also, then, like literally a couple of days after this scandal or whatever on Twitter, she was named Times Entertainer of the Year. So,
see, and I only know one of her songs, that hair back. Check my nails.
Oh yeah.
Good as hell. Like
good as hell,
my daughter knows every fucking word. Like, cause I don't play rap. We listen to a lot of Capital Radio, man. And I don't even play, cause I don't listen to rap. Sometimes when I put on Capital Extra, and I hear rappers, and I'm like, god damn, bro, like that's not good. Yeah, I can't listen to you. Right. So we just do Capital, man, and like. Yeah, they back Capital and Kiss, so I know all of these songs, man. I'm all about Roxanne. Jeez, all she wanna do is party all night. Oh, don't get me fucked up. Listen, I'm trying to relive my youth right now.
You're in your pop moment
listen,
right now.
I'm
you're
in
your commercial moment.
I'm out here.
Well, listen, Tony D, thank you so much for doing this.
It's been a pleasure. Do you know the worst thing?
Go on.
I talk for fun. See, if you just give me an opportunity to talk, I will talk. You've not only given me the opportunity, you've liquored me up while I'm doing it. I've just been sitting, sipping, and like the wave is strong right now.
Good. That's the plan. It's celebration, right?
Oh, we celebrate. I've got to go and rehearse. God damn.
You'll be fine.
But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, Linda. And
Thank you.
how long have I? When was the first time I met you? 20. We go back a long while, you know.
It's weird. That happens in battle rap because we know each other for many years, but because we only see each other at events, it doesn't feel like it.
So what would have been the first event? What was the first event you saw Tony D perform at?
What was the first event I saw you perform at? It wasn't a birthday.
Birthdays? What did I? Who I battled on birthdays?
No, it wasn't
Chiller.
a birthday. I didn't see that. I saw it at home. I remember seeing that.
You wasn't at Chiller? Oh, amazing. Not both days?
I wasn't there either day.
Damn.
I know.
Damn.
And I loved that performance as well. When he kept calling you a nurse. Oh, that's one of my favourites.
That's the worst thing about information. That's that
I love that battle. I might watch it again today.
When you leak information and the information is bad,
and then you run with it. Oh God.
Yeah, because you've written 2 minutes about
it. You can't even because once you correct him, you can't now.
Yeah, there's no going back from it. You're just gonna keep calling me a nurse, and I'm not. And I've never been a nurse. I was in social services, and now I'm a TA. Like, yeah, it's strange. So what would it?
So I can't remember. It would have been several years ago.
When did you first start coming to Dunflow?
What year are we in now?
We're in 2019 now.
I want to say 2016.
20. Oh, that 15? Recently. 50.
Yeah, no. I watched it because I didn't know anyone that liked it. And so I was like, I'm not going to go on my own. And then one day I was like, I'm going.
And then you get there and you realise.
And it was fine.
This is just, everything is love. It's one thing that I always credit the battle rap community with. It's love.
The events are incredible.
The events are amazing. It's so much love.
And then you talk to people like on just like a human level. And then you remember, oh, look, this happened with me. I think I actually said this to you at one point. In the middle of saying something. And I was like, fuck, I'm talking to Tony D. Like, for a second, it makes you like...
Do you know what's crazy? Is that I get that at events. I get that an awful lot. Like, people are like, they're mid-convo and they're like, I'm
actually talking to Tony D. Yeah,
but like, fuck, I breathe the same air you do,
I know, but it's different when you... Especially if you watch battle rap like I did for a long time before going. I never saw any of you in person, right? I only go from... I have favourites, and then I have my favourite battles that my favourites did, right? And so there's battles that I watched over and over and over again, right? And then I'd never met you. So then I'm talking to you as a human being, right? And then all of a sudden it just hits you in the back of your head. You're like, oh my God, wait. And that took a long time to get over.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, This the whole thing. Like, my kids think I'm mad famous.
Yeah.
My kids. We went Tenerife. Right. We was outside the restaurant in Tenerife, and someone said to me, "Bro, you're Tony D, innit?" And like, fuck me, I'm in Tenerife. Like, they looking at me like, I took them Butlins one time in Bognor Regis. We got in and we was too early to put our bags in, so we had to leave it by the reception and go and walk around. And literally within 3 minutes of walking around, one of the people who worked there came up and said, "Bruv, can I have a picture, please?" And they looked at me like, "Hey." And so like, and we walk in Walthamstow. If we walk in the market and you just say, "Hey, Tony D," and they're like, "That he knows you?" No, he knows. I don't know who he is. Yeah, he knows me. I have no clue. But yeah, it is strange. And the worst thing. Years ago, and I mean years ago, I'm talking 13, 14 years, Doc supported De La Soul and Black Sheep at the Jazz Cafe. So it's Doc, my brother. So I've gone there to see it. And I'm backstage upstairs in Jazz Cafe. And Drez from Black Sheep was there. And he was standing about 5 meters from me. Yeah, and I could not say a word. I looked at him like, you are one of the main reasons I do this thing here. And I just sat there looking at him like, fucking
it's
Trez.
It's the wonder.
Trez.
It's the...
Yeah, that's Trez.
And I know for a fact I didn't speak to you the first few times I saw you perform.
I guess.
I think... Do you know what the interaction I do remember? It was Checkpoint... Which one was the Soul Raptor one? You battled Troy Brown.
Me and Troy Brown, yeah.
And you got off the stage after battling Troy Brown. And I was like, I have to say something. Because that performance was so... Like, being in the room for it
That battle was crazy. Like,
That
what
was
Troy
such a
brought.
great battle.
We had the rebuttal, the same rebuttal
back and
that
forth,
went back.
Your mum sucks dick.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times I've watched that back, even though I was in the room, right? And I still watch it as if it's a brand new battle. And so you came off stage and I was on the side. You were coming down. So I think you were just gonna go outside or something, and I remember going, "That was so good." And you're like, "Thank you," but that was all I could get out.
No, but that's all I can say to people is like, "Thanks, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it." That's all I do it for, is so that you like it.
You enjoy it.
That you enjoy it, man. That's all I can hope for.
Thank you again to Tony D for guest co-hosting. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Season's greetings, and hope you eat and drink and be merry.
And have a blessed 2020.
Have a blessed 2020. You can catch Pod of Mercy every other Wednesday at Pod of Mercy. If you listen to this on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review. It currently says 0 on there.
Alright, make sure you rate and review.
0 stars, guys.
God damn, give us some stars. Come on, you gonna make me go and listen to this, my own shit. Listen, rate and review.
Rate and review. Alright, no, but seriously, enjoy your holidays and time off. Hopefully you have some, and catch you next time. Bye.